I'm going to tell you something that might sound wrong at first. I was a good person for most of my life, and it almost ruined my life. My name is Thomas. I'm 84 years old. I taught school for nearly 40 years. I was the calm teacher, the patient one, the dependable one, the man who never caused trouble, the man everyone could count on. And people did count on me. They counted on me to be reasonable, to be polite, to be the one who understood, to be the one who didn't get angry. And I wore that like a badge. But what I didn't understand until very late is that sometimes being good is just fear with good manners. Let me explain. When I was a boy, I learned very quickly what got you love in my house. You got love when you were easy, when you were helpful, when you brought home good marks, when you didn't make your parents' lives harder. Nobody sat me down and said, "Thomas, your worth depends on performance." But children don't need speeches. They watch, they feel, they learn. So I became good at being acceptable. I became a straight-A student, the peacemaker, the one who apologized first, the one who swallowed his opinions so nobody would be upset. When you practice that for long enough, you stop knowing what you actually want. You can tell other people what they should do. You can teach kids how to think, but you can't hear your own voice because you trained it to whisper. I built a life out of yes. Yes, I can help. Yes, I'll stay late. Yes, I'll take that on. Yes, it's fine. Yes, whatever you need. And from the outside, it looked like virtue. Inside, it was a slow disappearance. I don't say that to sound dramatic. I mean it literally. Every time I said yes when I meant no, I traded a piece of myself for approval. And approval is a strange currency. You spend your whole life earning it, and it never makes you feel rich. Because the moment you get it, you're afraid to lose it. So you keep earning. And that becomes your personality. I was the teacher who arrived early and left late. I graded papers on weekends. I wrote lesson plans at the dinner table. Not because anyone forced me, because I needed to feel needed. Because if I wasn't useful, I didn't know what I was. My wife would be talking to me and I would nod, but my mind was in tomorrow's classroom. My children would ask me to play and I'd say, "In a minute." And the minute would become an hour, and the hour would become a pattern. I missed things. Not always physically. Sometimes I was right there in the room, but I wasn't present. I was performing responsibility. And here's the part that hurts to admit. I thought my family should be grateful. Because look, I wasn't out drinking, I wasn't cheating, I wasn't abusive, I was a good man, I paid the bills, I stayed calm, I did the right thing. But good isn't the same as available. Good isn't the same as connected. Good isn't the same as alive. The first time my wife really said it out loud, I remember it clearly. She said, "Thomas, you're kind to everyone, but you're never with us." And I laughed a little because I didn't understand. I said, "I'm here, aren't I?" And she looked at me like I was a stranger who happened to live in her house. That should have woken me up. It didn't. Because when you're addicted to being seen as good, you can't tolerate being seen as wrong. So I did what good people do. I promised I'd try harder. I tried harder at work. I tried harder to be dependable. I tried harder to be everything except honest. You want to know what the real cost of people-pleasing is? It isn't exhaustion. It's resentment. Resentment is what grows when you abandon yourself and then blame everyone else for it. I didn't think I was resentful. I thought I was tired. But inside, I kept a secret score. How much I did. How little I asked for. How often I swallowed my feelings. And I never cashed it in. I just kept adding to it. That's a dangerous way to live. Because one day you wake up and you realize you've been living a life designed to avoid disappointing people. And you've disappointed yourself. Then retirement came. Good. Now I can finally rest. That's what I told myself. I lasted about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then the silence started to scare me. No students. No staff meetings. No papers to grade. No one saying, "We need you." And without that, I didn't know who I was. I want you to really hear that. I had built my entire identity out of being useful and being liked. So when I finally had time, it felt like emptiness. That's when the truth showed itself. I wasn't a good person because I was free. I was good because I was afraid. Afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid that if I said what I really thought, someone would leave. And I didn't learn goodness. I learned avoidance. Here's the lesson that took me 8 decades to learn. If you live for approval, you live on a leash, and the leash is invisible. It looks like being responsible. It looks like being mature. It looks like being the bigger person, but it's still a leash. Because your life becomes a performance, and you start confusing peace with the absence of tension. Real peace isn't nobody's upset. Real peace is I'm not betraying myself. So what changed? It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was something smaller and harder. I began practicing disappointing people. Just a little. Not cruelly, not dramatically, simply, honestly. The first time I did it, my heart pounded like I was committing a crime. Someone asked me to take on a responsibility at the community center. The old me would have said yes before they finished the sentence. Instead, I said, "Thank you for thinking of me. I can't." And I stopped. No speech, no excuse, no explanation, just no. Do you know what happened? They blinked. They nodded. They asked someone else. And I walked home shaking. Not because they were angry, because I was finally facing the fear I'd been obeying my whole life. That was the beginning. Then I said no to staying late, no to guilt, no to being the emotional sponge for everyone else's chaos. And something strange happened. The world didn't end. Some people liked me less, but I liked myself more. And that was a trade I should have made at 25. If you take nothing else from me, take this. Being kind doesn't mean abandoning yourself. Being good isn't about never upsetting anyone. Sometimes the most honest, loving thing you can do is allow someone to be disappointed in you. Because disappointment won't kill them, but self-betrayal will slowly kill you. It will turn your life into a quiet waiting room where you keep hoping someone will call your name and tell you you've finally done enough to deserve rest. I'm 84, and I'm telling you, you don't earn your worth by being easy to live with. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have preferences. You are allowed to say no without explaining your whole childhood. So here's a simple question I wish I'd asked myself sooner. Am I being kind or am I being afraid? Because they feel similar at first. They both keep the peace, but only one of them keeps you. If this hit you, share it with someone who is proud of being the good one, but secretly exhausted. And tell me in the comments, where are you saying yes just to be loved? What's one no you need to say this week, not to punish anyone, but to finally stop disappearing?